The Sega Saturn. I haven't said those words for a while. I loved my Sega Saturn. I bought the PAL version in 2019 and until 2023 I amassed 80 physical games for it. I managed to get the Japanese console in my final year of owning the Saturn, and I even acquired the Satiator, a device which plugs into the slot where a video CD card would be inserted. It gave me the ability to load ROMs from an SD card slot, simply incredible. Unfortunately, I was forced to give it up to raise money, and I still regret that decision even today. With this, I bought this retro-bit wireless Sega Saturn controller to recapture the magic, and I'm itching to play some games. In this video, I'll talk about the controller, how well it has served me along with any issues or problems I encountered during my time using it. Let's begin. Here's the controller in question, and I have to say, I love this colour scheme. Its design cues are taken from the Japanese version and the transparent look stands out. I'm not normally a fan of transparent devices, but I'll make an exception here. Holding the controller feels great. My hands cup the sides as well as a legitimate Sega Saturn controller, and pressing any of the face buttons gives an air of quality to the experience. No wonder this controller is endorsed by Sega proper. The D-pad is very good too. I love the dome shape and it feels both accurate and soft to the touch. Unlike some D-pads, this one makes you want to play 2D games or fighting games more than most first-party controllers. You also have L and R trigger buttons with start, select and even a home button to round off the features. This is a wireless controller, but for today's video I went in using the wired connection. I always prefer this method where possible. Using the OpenEMU emulator on my MacBook Pro, I played a few Sega Saturn games to really put this device through its paces. I started with Stellar Assault SS. This game never saw release outside Japan, although thankfully this English patch version has both English text and voices too. This game is a lot of fun. I call it Ace Combat, but in space. The experience is easy to control, with this pad being a joy to use here. I never once felt handicapped, so I could focus on blasting my enemies and rocks. Yes, blasting rocks never felt so good. I had to try Street Fighter Alpha 3. I adore the creation Capcom came up with, and to me it is one of the best fighting games of all time. The controller worked as well as I expected. I'm not great at this title, but the moves I did know I pulled off without much trouble. This was so much fun to play, and the experience was enhanced by this controller. Compared to the DualSense controller I was using before, the Sega Saturn controller made all the difference, and it made the game much more bearable to play. Astra Superstars was also fun to play. This 2D fighting game is extraordinary. Taking place in the air, the game really pushes you to the limit. Good thing this controller copes well with the gameplay. I really had a blast playing this title. Everything flowed so nicely and I did not struggle to get my special attacks going. Definitely worth playing, by the way. I also gave the second Gungriffon game a shot, and wow, this is a much better game than the first, and that was also a good game in its own right. The control is sharper and much more usable, and the button layout makes more sense this time. I was in mech heaven, and the driving beat of the improved soundtrack elevated the action. I'm really glad I played this title. I played quite a few games to test this controller, so I'll let the rest play out in a quick montage and then I'll give you some final thoughts on the wireless controller. So far, this has been a pretty glowing impression, and I'm sure all of you now expect me to say I wholeheartedly recommend you get one for yourself. I do, but that doesn't mean my experience was trouble-free. On my MacBook at least, I never got the Bluetooth to fully work. It connected, but the laptop never picked up any inputs. I got the controller to work when wired, as it was seen as a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. Even here, each time I played a new game on emulation, the controller would not stay connected. I had to unplug it and replug it before it started working again. This happened every time, and let me tell you, this got frustrating pretty quickly. Please note, I haven't tried this controller on other devices I currently own, such as my desktop PC running Windows 10, my Samsung S23 Ultra, or the Steam Deck. The MacBook might be the only device where problems occur. The thing is, the device is great, and when it works beautifully. The issues I have with it make me hesitate to recommend it, since I feel others could have the same problems I mentioned. The box does mention it is Mac compatible after all. I wonder if my issues stem from the idea that my MacBook is the M1 ARM version and not, say, an Intel powered one. Who knows? You folks let me know, would you get this controller for your setup? Tell me in the comments, and I will see you soon.